Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Let me grab my slides and we're good to go. Okay. Hmm. Wunderbar. There we go. All right, let me see who was here first. Levy, thank you so much for being here first. There are no prizes, but I appreciate it. And Lizette Zog, thank you so much for being here. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Zog. I think so. Uh, and Susie Q, Vanessa Jones, Leslie F, Ingrid Soares, Gwen Daniels, Lady Metatrons, um, B. Martin, and let's see who else. And a host of friends and other. Hey, Black Queen. Okay, scrolling all the way down. Joan Garcia wants to say hi to a few people. We're always glad to help out with that. Oh, Hark, there is a Cash App. Thank you so much, MR. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. All right. Hey, Rick, thank you for being here. Lydia Washington. All right. So, what do we have here? More people are speaking, praising. Okay, I see what I did there. I'm going to leave it like that, actually. Speakings, praising Prince Harry's victory. Couldn't make up my mind. Also, there's Meghan, Misan, and David. They actually posted that interview so you can watch it. And then there's Prince Archie and his Leica camera. At least he'd like a Leica. All right. That's interesting because they spelled Leica as in Leica camera the way I would probably spell it with my creative spelling technique. My spelling is always very phonetic. If it wasn't for the computer, I wouldn't do so well. Okay. Is it phonetic or pathetic? I forgot what they told me. Oh well. Somebody said, Baron, you spell pathetically or phonetically? I can't remember. I think they mean the same thing anyway. Oh well. So again, congratulations for a whopping 48,000. Hey, Big Mama, 48,000 subscribers. Um, Subscribers have been coming in very fast. You know, it was just the 6th of December that it was 47,000. So, yeah, new subscribers are coming fast, and we've already got another 200 plus since I said 48. So, I'm here for it. Thank you all so much, especially all you new subscribers. Greatly, greatly appreciate your considering Royal Sussex as one of your Sussex friendly spaces. Very important. Sussex friendly space, not just a Sussex space. You know what always amazes me is that there are some squatties who will watch Lady C. I don't get it. Why are you watching Lady C? Why are you watching Neil Sean or Sean Neil? I can never remember which comes first. Why are you watching those people? You're torturing yourself. I couldn't do it. To each their own, I couldn't do it. Thank you, Lydia Washington. Greatly appreciate it. Okay. So yeah, 48,000 subscribers, 48 and some change. Oh, 48,194. Okay, so it's a little less than what I said, but that's cool. Also, I have been removing the trolls from the Royal Sussex account. They come up with some very creative things. But I have to tell you, One thing I will never understand is why shut the H up, you are stupid. I get a lot of backlash for that video that I posted of Will and Kate walking into that Royal Variety show. They are furious with me. And it's not what I said. It's actually the little graphics. Well, not graphics, but the what do you call it? The comments that I added to the video. They don't kosher too well to what I said about them. What else is new? Let me see here. Huh. But I just don't understand why they just don't flip it around and they will see things the way we see it. They want us to see things through their eyes, but they don't take any consideration that they're, well, let's see, where is that at? I want to show you the video. Where is that one? That's the Archwell Foundation. Okay, that's that one. Gosh, I want to show you the one that that they are losing their minds over. What is that one called? Okay, it's not that. Okay, it's not that one. Anyway, they are very, very angry about it. And I wanted to show you what was making them so upset. Maybe I don't have it here. Maybe that's it. I don't think I have it here. Oh, well. Or what if I do this? Nope, I don't have it here. Nope. I have that one, but I don't have the one where they're walking into the theater. Anyway, they are furious about that one. Wonder how come I don't have that one? And I know I did it on this computer. Oh, well, it's not so important. Maybe I'll show it later. But anyway, we got a little bit to cover, so I better get going. But it's only 13 seconds. No, it's 29 seconds? 15 seconds. Oh, well. Me and my organization skills leave a lot to be desired. All right, so let's move on, you guys, because I can be here all day trying to sort that one out. Yes, we are very much in a free country. We are very much not a racist country, as William would say. We are very much in a free country. I was about to say company. Hello, Marcy Foreman. Okay. Elaine Parker is here. Very cool. Terry H. Okay. And Sherry is here. So take a look here. These were the newspapers for Friday, or is it Saturday? Friday. Anyway, if you're looking for the tabloid media to cover this victory of Prince Harry's, forget it. As you can see here, one of the squaddies posted King Charles and Prince William, aka Prince of Wales, media buddies, have chosen to do the mute challenge regarding Prince Harry's win today. I hope that they can keep the same energy for 2024. I like that. Oh, thank you so much, Elaine Parker. I like that too. Thank you so much for the super sticker. And then there's another comment right there from another squatty that says, if nothing tells you about the media corruption in this country, These front pages surely drive it home. What losers. So they're talking about everything under the sun. They don't even mention, let me see, is there any mention of Harry and Meghan on the front page? That is so strange. There is none. None. Nada. Not in the Times, the Daily Mail, the Mirror, and the Sun. Nothing. Nothing. No references to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. No reference to Prince Harry. Nothing. They just don't want to talk about it. What's the matter? Court victory got your tongue? Yes, they are fragile, Black Queen. They are very fragile. They're very brittle. I mean, if you just look at them hard, they just shatter in a million pieces. So, as Harry said, I've been told that slaying dragons will get you burned. But in light of today's victory and the importance of doing what is needed for a free and honest press, it's a worthwhile price to pay. The mission continues. The mission continues. Prince Harry, a man among men. I mean, good King Harry. That's it. Good King Harry. Um, I believe Princess Diana saw incredible leadership in Prince Harry long before anybody else did. And you know what? Now that we're talking about it, maybe other people did see that, and the family did as much as they could to try to discourage it, to try to suppress it, to try to deny his innate abilities, his incredible talent, his emotional intelligence. They probably did everything they could to discourage that because they couldn't stand the idea that it would upset what they consider the natural order of things, which of course is, but for an accident of birth, William was born first, and well, they have him, higher up in the line of succession. It doesn't mean that he's qualified. And of course, we would have to believe that there is something, what is the word I'm looking for? Something, no, not spiritual, something supernatural about anyone in that family that they deserve to take that throne. And we all know that that's not the case. I mean, we're all human. We all put on our pants one leg at a time. But good King Harry is just he's incredible. He's all I hear is people saying how proud they are of Harry, how Harry makes them proud. I hear that over and over and over again. And it's true. I couldn't be more proud of him. Like everybody else, I may not remember the date most days, but I do remember when he was born. And I do remember the little cheeky kid that everybody thought was just adorable. And then, of course, the tabloid media used that very spunky behavior of his, and they decided to spin it into something of the wild child, the wild one. I mean, there are literally headlines that declare that there's something wrong with him, and that William, of course, just like they did with the Queen and Margaret, William would be the one to set things straight. William, the older sibling, would have to be the one to be the very moral compass of the family, right? That's what they want us to believe anyway. But turns out when it comes to morality, when it comes to a sense of fair play, that doesn't describe William. That describes Harry. Harry is doing all of this not only for himself, but for his children and even for his niece and nephews. He's doing this for everyone in the United Kingdom. anyone who is subject to the devastation of the tabloid media, anybody who could ever find themselves in that position, one of these days they are going to thank Prince Harry. I'm pretty sure that in the future, people will still be talking about how Harry helped reform the media, the entire media landscape, maybe in more than one country. But it needs to happen. When you hear people the last few days speak about the invasion of privacy because of phone hacking, people are talking about it. If you left it to the tabloid media, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But just like with the book Endgame, we are talking about things that otherwise would be a rather taboo subject. People wouldn't want to talk about it for fear that the tabloids would target them or come after them. But the more mainstream this conversation becomes, the more protection there is for everyone. So, okay, let me go to the next one here. Now, I lost respect for um, Andrew Morton some time ago. I used to think that he was special or that he helped give Princess Diana her voice. But increasingly, I feel like he's helping the institution take Harry's voice away and, of course, by default, take Diana's voice away. Now, he's on Good Morning Britain. I'm assuming that he is paid to be there, right? I'm assuming that there was some pay exchange for his appearance. I may be wrong, but if there is, that makes this just that much more offensive. So let's start on the left side. Prince William secretly settled phone hacking claim against owners of the Sun newspaper, court told, right? King Charles tried to stop Prince Harry's hacking claim, court hears. Well, court told, court hears, whatever the case may be, they want all the benefits of their relationship. They, of course, being Camilla and Charles, Wadey Katie, and uh, Willie Leaks. All of them want the benefit of their relationship with the tabloid media. And in some cases, they seem to have taken financial reward from the tabloid media. But in exchange for that, they have thrown Harry, Meghan, and their children to the wolves, to those rotorets. They have been sacrificed on behalf of the other members of the family. Red meat, red meat. They were dangled like red meat. Just don't write nothing bad about us. So Andrew Morton, the reason why I put that next to this, I'll get to it. Andrew Morton said he's losing his life to court and spending his time looking backwards, not looking forward. Prince Harry hears if he's won his unlawful information gathering claim against the UK tabloid newspaper at the High Court today. So Andrew Morton is saying that Harry is spending too much time looking back. He ain't moving forward. He's stuck in the past, I guess is what he's trying to say. But and this is the point that I keep trying to make with these people, with anybody who dares to speak out against the Sussexes. William secretly settled phone hacking claim, which means that he allegedly created his own invisible contract. Now, we already know that Clarence House has their invisible contract, and Willie and Katie got their invisible contract, allegedly. So, if Harry wants to move forward, and he is moving forward, by the way, but he's still going to take these people to court. Part of recovery from whatever you've suffered is that you have to look your past in the eye. Those things which cause you anguish and fear, you have to face them. You have to talk about it. You have to confront people who have done you wrong. Harry wants to preserve the relationship with his family, but he can only have a relationship with his family if they stop briefing, if they stop leaking, and if they stop giving a tepid consent to the tabloid media to go after him, which is exactly what they're doing. This is the same family that wants Harry and Meghan to defend them from claims of racism, but they would not speak up when someone compared their nephew slash grandson to a chimpanzee. This is the same William that chose, well, actually, Clarence House and Kensington Palace, they chose to circle the wagons for Christian Jones. And again, they gave no support to their own blood relative. None. They were supposed to sacrifice their mental health and well-being on behalf of the institution. And notice I can't say a very grateful institution. You know how they always say, thank you so much for sacrificing for a very grateful nation? Well, it seems as though the institution, and probably, I'm going to say at least 30 to 40% of the nation, is incredibly ungrateful. So even if you were willing to do that, which you never should, because they would never do it for you, they have proven that they would never do it for you. They have allowed the tabloid media to target their own kin, and of course, sister-in-law, and of course, a child. These are the same institutions, or the same institution, that went to war against an infant child over a name, knowing that Harry would never name his daughter Lilibet without consent from his grandmother. But the tabloids, they knew better, and they still reported it as some offense or some affront, knowing that it was not. The same family, same institution, knowing that Harry had too much respect for his grandmother to ever do something like that without her consent. And yet, both Lily and Archie, God forbid, at some point will find out how bittersweet their lives were in the early days. Sweet for their family, sweet for people that do not attack children, that do not abuse children, but bitter to people who would rather they were never here in the first place, who didn't want their parents to marry. What a way to come into the world. What a way to start your life, right? What a way to be introduced to the world. And the thing is, that family doesn't care. They don't care that people see them playing these games in the bright light of day. It means nothing to them. The whole point is to win. That's it. They don't care about those children. They don't care about Harry. And yet, you have all of these derangers, all of these royalists who are looking at people like me and saying, don't you get it? Don't you get it? You don't get it? Why should I get it? Which, by the way, I do get it. But as I told this deranged individual in the comments, usually I don't talk to those people, but I'm just like, let me do this. So I'm going back and forth with this person, and they tried the stick and carrot, I suppose. They tried to convince me that what happened to the Sussexes were not fair, but yet, what happened to them was brought on to them because of who they are and what they've done. And but you won't say the same thing for the royal family. You won't say the same thing for Charles. Charles, who let me see, what's that term? You turn something into a housewife. I can't remember what it was. You turned something improbable. You turned it into a housewife. Anyway, it escapes me right now. But that's what he did. Not just a housewife, but a queen. Right? And William, who decided to go ahead and marry someone who was strutting across the stage in their underwear and a see-through dress. And then after they were married, we still got to see all their business because they can't seem to keep the dress down. And yet Meghan is supposed to be the one who is, what is that they call her, a degree wife? They try to call her the degree wife and the yacht girl, which of course is projection because we all know who the degree wife and the yacht girl is. But they would rather project that onto Meghan so that nobody associates it with the other one, even though we have so much documented evidence of what the tabloids thought about the Middleton family. We have a ton of it. You know, I save every little bit of it I can find. I save it just in case they try to purge it from the internet. I save it. There's a lot of us that saves that stuff. Anyway, so Andrew Morton, he is saying that Harry is stuck in the past, but yet he has nothing to say about the way that that family continues to mistreat him. So Harry, who cannot get paid security while he's in that country, he's not even asking for it away from the UK. He's not trying to be a burden to the taxpaying subjects of his father. He just wants to make sure he's protected so he can share his place of birth with his children. Why doesn't Andrew Morton speak about that? Or is that not what he's being paid for on this occasion? So he's there for phone hacking, and the best answer he can give is Harry needs to stop looking backwards. Oh, silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. By the way, thank you so much for the Venmo, RW. And thank you so much for being here on Royal Sussex. Okay, so let me play this little sound bite of Andrew Morton, and maybe I can shed a little more light on this situation. Oh, nope. I'm going the wrong direction. Nope, that one either. Got it. Got it. I'm on top of it today. No worries.
He's taken on, 4 or 5 court cases, and he's been looking at the past in his life, and it's terribly debilitating. He's not been able to move on from going over and over the sadness and...
Hold on. Listen to the despair in his voice. He's going over and over. Let me start it over.
Ultimately, he's taken on, 4 or 5 court cases, and he's been looking at the past in his life, and it's terribly debilitating. He's not been able to move on from going over and over the sadness and anger of his past, and in many respects he's got to move on, and his charity Archwell suffers because he's not being able to invest the time.
Do you hear him speaking the party line? his charity, Archwell. This guy has been rehearsed. He is speaking rehearsed lines. These are directly from the tabloid. And listening to him, I'm like, my God, this is the person or one of the people that Diana put her trust in. And listen to him. Eventually, they all turn. They all turn. He has a long time ago, though. Now, according to the tabloids, and I suppose that Harry and Meghan, for accounting purposes, said that they work on their charity 1 hour a week. I don't know. I did not see that directly myself. Whether they have or they have not said that, who cares? Who's operating under the assumption that they're not putting as much into their charity as they? The whole point is it's a charity. It's something that they are voluntarily doing. They don't have to do it. Morally, consciously, that's who they are. They're philanthropists. They're humanitarians. They're going to do stuff all the time. But you don't determine that. Where is the Andrew Morton Foundation? Who are you helping?
That it would need to move it forward.
Clearly he feels though, sorry Charlotte, clearly he feels though, he needs to settle these scores. He needs to have his day in court to be able to move on. One of the first things about therapy often is, right, you need to confront your anger. You need to be able to get past it.
But he has confronted his anger over the years. He's written in his book, Spare, he's talked endlessly.
Look at that. He can't even get the words out of his mouth. Now, I forgot who that was. That's the other announcer or anchor or whatever on the morning show. But he's talking sense. He's talking sense. Even if Harry and Meghan decided tomorrow, okay, we're done. Unless the tabloids is going to stop this attack, which there's no indication that they ever would. And if there's no indication that they will ever stop, then why would they so-called move forward and stop looking back? Looking back is the only protection they have to go forward. Without exposing these people and putting it officially on court documents, or even hopefully there will be an investigation that never took place into all the phone hacking and such. But until they are satisfied, then I am going to give them my full support in any way I can to help them move forward with court and anything else for that matter. It is the anointed time, not the appointed time, and it's certainly not the Andrew Morton time. They don't operate on Andrew Morton's timetable.
About the media, he's vented, but he's not moved it forward. It's noticeable that his brother came to a settlement with various newspapers several years ago and has moved on.
His brother made a settlement with other newspapers and moved on. His brother did not mention to him that he accepted over $1 million. We only just found out about that in the past, year? Why in the world is Andrew Morton citing Prince Harry's brother, Willie Leaks, as an example of how you move on? Willie Leaks, who has committed this dogged attack against his brother and is constantly bullying his brother and his sister-in-law, William and Kate, and this whole charm offensive, that is abuse. Anytime that someone dresses like you, and does the same charity work that you're doing, hugging people, embracing people, going through all the motions to be as much like you as possible, that means that they are doing as much as they can to try to erase your legacy and replace it with their own. I say that's abusive. It is bullying. It is cross-Atlantic bullying. They are sending a message to Montecito that if we feel like we want to get under your skin, we can do that. The whole idea of we're coming to America, that is what a bully does. That is what an abuser does. An abuser would take the apartment next door. The abuser would sit outside your house. And figuratively, that's exactly what they're doing. They're reminding people that, oh, we are the most popular in America. This is all part of a concerted effort from Kensington Palace in cooperation with the tabloid media. All of that is deliberate. So you're using William as an example of someone who has moved on. William hasn't moved on. William has a vendetta. I told you not to marry her. I told you to shave. I told you shouldn't wear that uniform. Right up until the wedding day, he was still on him. He didn't want Harry to wear the uniform that he wore. And then, of course, when it comes to his grandmother's funeral, then Harry is excluded from wearing a uniform. Then, because of pressure, he's eventually given a uniform. All of that is the classic signs of an abuser. And the mean girl that he's married to, those are abusers. They're bullies. They have unlimited resources. It doesn't cost them anything. They have an entire industry, the British tabloid media, on their side. The only testament to the strength of the Sussexes is that in spite of all of the tools that they have not been defeated. In spite of all the tools that the mean girl and his dim-witted brother Willie leaks, in spite of all they have going for them, the monarchy, right? They got the monarchy, they got the British government. They hoped that they had the courts, but apparently they don't have a complete hold on the courts yet. They have so many things going for them. And yet the Sussexes are still standing strong. That is a testament to their strength. Every time I look at Andrew Morton, I swear I could just hock and spit in his face. He just disgusts me. He's a disgusting individual. Every time I look at him, I just want to hurl my computer out the window. Disgusting. He could think of some of the stupidest things to say. And it's all so contrived and deliberate. That's why when he's talking, he's just stumbling over his words so that he can make sure I feel like I'm sitting here looking at Thomas Markle Sr. I feel like I'm looking at Thomas Markle Sr. This is very Thomas Markle, a stumbling dialogue of rehearsed language to describe what the Sussexes are doing, and no mention of the rest of that family. It is beyond unbelievable that someone who managed to crawl out of obscurity because of Princess Diana is stumbling over his words to condemn Harry, even though this brutal institution is part of a daily hate campaign because he dare expose the truth. The one thing I can say about the Queen is the Queen didn't invite the media to come and spend the night and have drinks and cocktails. She barely acknowledged those people. But yet William and Charles are so dependent upon them. How do you look yourself in the mirror while you're having drinks with someone that is going to write this book, giving you this glowing biography? How do you how do you look yourself in the mirror knowing that you're not that person? You're not that interesting. You're not that talented. You're just an accident of birth, nothing more. If you ever were stripped of everything and had to make it in the real world, you would be some hobo on the street. You'd be some vagabond somewhere, a tramp. Gracie Infowabi, thank you so much for the super chat. Exactly. Where is Andrew Morton's foundation? How you move on if same people keep doing the same crap? You have to nip it in the butt. Thank you so much for that. Exactly. So you're supposed to turn and act normal while you know someone is still out to get you. Not today, Satan. Not today. Andrew Morton is hiding something. Sure he is. They got to him. They got to him the same way they got to everybody else. That is what a protection racket does. They use threat and coercions. They use threats and coercions to get you to act accordingly. So who knows what role he plays in this, but every time the royal family is in trouble, you can tell because they roll out the most simple-minded people, which includes Andrew Morton. They roll out the most simple-minded people and prop them up in front of a camera and then give them some lines to say. Yeah, God help Princess Diana. You know, her soul must be restless. Or you know, probably not. Because thanks to Harry, Diana can be at peace. Because her voice is not being drowned out. But that institution has done so much to try to silence Diana. This man built his fortune. I think he has a home in California. He was a nobody until he wrote about Diana. A nobody, a nothing from nowhere. Now he's some stammering fool on television reading the lines that were offered to him. It is beyond belief. It is beyond belief. I could imagine that coming from a lot of people, but Andrew Morton? As Tina would say, are you insane? You owe everything to Diana. You would be a big nothing if she didn't trust you. And now you're part of that same institution that is not only trying to suppress her memory, to try to take her voice away. Now you're part of that same cabal that's going after Harry. The only person in that family worthy to continue her legacy. Did I finish the thing or not? I didn't. Let me see. Did I finish him? Nope. It's still some more. Damn fool. He just makes me sick. Do you hear me? Sick. He just makes me sick.
Cases, and he's been looking at the past in his life, and it's terribly debilitating. He's not been able to move on from going over and over the sadness and anger of his past, and in many respects he's got to move on, and his charity Archwell suffers because he's not being able to invest the time that it would need to move it forward.
Clearly he feels though, sorry Charlotte, clearly he feels though he needs to settle these scores. He needs to have his day in court to be able to move on. One of the first things about therapy often is, right, you need to confront your anger. You need to be able to get past it.
But he has confronted his anger over the years. He's written in his book, Spare, he's talked endlessly about the media, he's vented, but he's not moved it forward. It's noticeable that his brother came to a settlement with various newspapers several years ago and has moved on. And it's the one thing anybody will tell you: once you get involved in a big court case, it devours your life.
So even though you've had a heads up from somebody somewhere that you think it's going to be a partial victory for Harry in terms of legal terms, actually this won't be a victory, and he's losing.
He's losing. He's losing popular support. He's losing his life. He's spending his life looking backwards rather than looking forwards. He's kind of ladling the tepid bathwater of the past over himself, to quote Proust. Ultimately, he's taken on 4 or 5.
Oh boy, I wish everybody had as much concern about another human being that ain't got nothing to do with you. Whew. Andrew Morton, I tell you, I think what really gets me is that I would expect so much more from him. I would expect so much more from him, especially like so many. Well, you know what? Why? Because just like that Ken Wolf, just like that evil butler, what's his name? That one with that big chin that sticks out like a booty. What's his name? Paul Bunyan Chin, whatever his name is, Paul Burrell, the one with the booty chin. I couldn't think of what else to call it. But anyway, why would I expect anything more from Andrew Morton? Because just like everybody else, all these people who were so pious and so devoted to Diana when she first died mysteriously in that tunnel in Paris without a good explanation. Why would I expect more from them or from him rather, when all of them, one after the other, I tell you, Diana, she's like the Tammy Wynette, or she's like a country singer, where you just lose everything. You know how in country music they say the dog died, I lost my farm, I lost this, I lost that. Yeah. And of course, the men. Every man that Diana has ever been around has let her down, except for Harry. Even the other son. The only men, even her brother, her father, all of them, they're all a bunch of losers and failures and short-sighted pantyweights. No good. None of them. The only one that never let her down, Harry. The rest of them, whether it was living or after she died mysteriously in that tunnel in Paris, they have all come up short. They have all come up short. B. Martin, thank you for 1 month's membership. Let me see. Thank you, Baron and Mods. Thank you so much for being here. I tell you, Andrew Morton always rubs me the wrong way. And I look at that big stupid look on his face, and it doesn't help at all. This man really sets me off because it of all people, you who would be nothing if it wasn't for Diana, and this is how you celebrate her memory, is by throwing her son off a cliff, throwing him to the wolves, throwing him under the bus. I expect the very bottom from people who spent so much time sucking up and spitting it out like it's news. I'm a forgiver, not a forgetter. Oh, I like that. I'm a forgiver, not a forgetter. I got to remember that one. Well, I tell you, this guy, it's just something about him that He's such a simpleton. I mean, the guy has got to be okay financially. Why are you on TV? Well, maybe he's not. Maybe he's not. Maybe that's why he's there. Maybe he's a little short on cash. I don't know. All I know is he's a one tree short of a hammock. He's a brick short of a house. He's one oar short of a rowboat. Let me see. He acts like a slave master who owns Harry. Yeah, exactly. They act like Harry is a possession. That's why people compare that institution. They compare the monarchy to a cult. They compare it to a cult. Even Harry mentioned that in his book. He said some people think of us as some type of death cult, where they just sit around and wait for people to die. The tabloid media is the reason why Diana's not here. I blame them the most. And that same tabloid media began to make a lot of money off Diana's memory, right? And that same tabloid media has spent the past, 10 years, 20 years trying to destroy her all over again so that they can elevate Camilla and so that they can somehow reform Charles. And now that same tabloid media is trying to destroy her youngest son and his wife and their children. And you know what happens from every step along the way? They're still making money. They're still making money. Whether you win or lose, you're going to make money. Or they're going to make money, rather. Oh, well, let's see. Oh, anyway, thank you so much, Joan Garcia. And thank you for being a member. And official Lauren Brown, tell us how you feel. I'm sick of it. Do you hear me? Sick! I'm just sick of it. That's how I feel. Leg says, why do they all have that Wallace and Gromit look? That is a good question. Thank you for the super chat. And B. Martin says, the prince has business to take care of. And what concern is it of someone you don't speak to? Exactly. What it must be like for Harry to look at these people and know how they exploit or have exploited his mother's memory or exploited her while she was alive. What it must be like for Harry to look at these people that are exploiting him and his family. He's a grown adult. Is he never to be rid of that institution? The most disingenuous thing that they say is, okay, you made your point. Now just go away and live your life. Well, then stop talking about him. Leave him alone. But they're not saying that to him. They're saying that to the few supporters of the royal family because, every day there's a handful less because, the younger people are not as interested. So when they say that, they're trying to make sure that they're not losing their support base. It's not to win us over. They're not trying to convert us. It's just they don't want to lose their support base, what's left of it. But thank you again, B. Martin. Okay. Steve Kogan, phone hacking ruling, systematic concealment. Phone hacking ruling reveals, systematic concealment. Actor and comedian says Prince Harry's partial high court win shows need for tighter press regulations, right? And this is very important because now there are other people, there's more people speaking about a need for regulations. They got to, you know, nobody wants to silence the press, but we want to stop the abuse. We want to stop the protection racket that is the press, the bullying that comes from the press. That's the part that people want to stop. I don't think that a lot of people really consider exactly how awful the phone hacking has been. There was a woman that was on television yesterday, and she mentioned that her daughter died. She was killed by her husband or boyfriend, whatever the guy was, and they hacked her phone. They hacked her phone. And her mother was not only hurt, she said she's still angry because the press managed to hack her daughter's phone. And the phone hacking wasn't just limited to them using that default setting for the um, access to the voicemail, but they actually, in some cases, had someone on the inside at the phone company that helped them access people's phone numbers. So even if you did change phones, I believe they were able to get some people's new PIN number. And then also the conversation the past couple days um, has been about how it has divided families. Like the woman who thought her sister was selling her out to the media because there was no conceivable way that people should have known these things. How could that end up in the paper if my own sister hadn't sold me out? And God forbid someone has gone to their grave with the assumption that someone had sold them out, that their family or best friend had sold them out. And the whole time it was the tabloid media. What kind of lack of conscience does a person need to do something like that? You know, as I've gotten to know Omid Scobie through his many television appearances and the things that he's written, I could believe that Omid was in a newsroom and witnessed this and had the thought, is this legal? This hardly seems fair. Not everyone in the newsroom is okay with stuff like that. And a lot of times, I would say any of us could have been consumed by peer pressure to do things that we normally wouldn't do. But then there's a particular type in journalism in the UK where they have passed the baton from one family member to the next. And they're all in that same family business. Another person who was in the uh, print media and is the son of a journalist, and that, of course, is James O'Brien. And if James O'Brien wasn't the person that he is today, who knows whether or not he would have been caught up in something like that. But his calling was someplace else. So thank goodness he did not get consumed by that. Okay. Steve Cogan said the Duke of Sussex's partial victory in the High Court phone hacking claim shows there is a, what is that? I'm a something of a system. Why is all these big words? Concealment behind the press. Darn Latins. I'm sick of them. That looks like something Latin, right? An ometer, whatever. and has called for a bolstered system of independent regulation. The British actor and comedian who is involved with the Hacked Off campaign, Hacked Off, he's with Hacked Off, reiterated his calls for press reform after Prince Harry won a substantial part of his case against Mirror Group newspaper. So Harry had like what 33 items, and I think what was it 15 that the judge said were true or likely or whatever. The High Court judge concluded on Friday that there was extensive phone hacking by MGN from 2006 to 2011. Mr. Justice Fancourt ruled that out of the representatives, there it is right there, a sample of 33 articles about the prince examined during the trial. 15 were the product of phone hacking or unlawful information gathering. The judge also found that there was hacking even to some extent during the Levinson inquiry into media standards. So even while they were having an inquiry about phone hacking, they were still doing it. They were still actively hacking people's phone. I always liked Steve Kogan, but I didn't know that he was part of that. What do you call it? What group was that? I just said hacked up or hacked off, whatever. Anyway, I didn't know he was part. Hacked off campaign. I didn't know he was part of that. Now I like him that much more. Lambert Charles, welcome to the Royal Sussex Baron. They will never stop until their mission is accomplished. They want to reduce them to the Diana experience, but we will not allow that. Yeah, Diana did not have the social media at that time. Plus, nowadays, the news cycle is so much faster. Back in those days, there was cable news 24 hours a day. But now people can stream whatever, whenever. People can create the news. We're all reporters. If you have a phone, if you have a smartphone, you have a platform. It's just that simple. You can use your smartphone and become a millionaire. It has happened. People have become a millionaire with their smartphone. So people are really only limited by their imaginations nowadays. So the idea that they can get away with this stuff, the tabloids are struggling to keep up with the technology. They're struggling to keep up with the fact that most people gathered their information from social media. Most people are not watching the news. We're looking at social media. We're looking at news clips, which exists right alongside of someone's Facebook page. And TikTok is giving them fits. TikTok is giving them fits. And because TikTok is owned, I think, isn't it from China? They don't seem to have as much control. The only leverage they have with TikTok is the idea that they can get the federal government to regulate them. And right now, Joe Biden needs TikTok. He really needs TikTok. So he's not going to go after him. Let me see here. Oh, really? Lorna Williams says LBC YouTube had a doctor on today whose phone was hacked and she was talking about it, but only the parts that she could only discuss after she had a settlement and a non-disclosure agreement. All right. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, they said that Murdoch has paid over $1 billion to settle cases. Over $1 billion. Hey, Anastasia. Let me see. Charmaine James. Shame on Charles, William, and Kate are so jealous of Harry and Meghan. They really are. They really are. Let's see. All right, and there you go, Steve Kogan. So what's really cool is that here's at least two articles, even though most of the media don't want to talk about it. Here's at least two articles where you have a very recognizable face, especially in the UK, that is talking about this. It needs to be more mainstream. It needs to be more public. It needs to be part of a much larger conversation because the public is very fickle, and in no time, if we don't push this, it is going to just fade away. That's why Harry went to court. What was it, back in the summer when he showed up and surprised everybody at court? Because he wanted to make sure that the proper attention is being brought to these things. Steve Coogan has praised Prince Harry after judge found that the royal phone was hacked by the Daily Mirror. Okay. Black Queen says, Baron, Janine Bell state that Chucky went to Scotland and told all the reporters that he secured Harry's court win or something to that effect. Black Queen, I'm going to have to tell you, I actually thought about that. I said, what if instead of Charles going there to try to stop this, what if the old man actually showed up to use his influence to make sure that Harry was victorious? Now, I'm not saying that happened, but I'm just saying, what if that was the case? What if? Maybe instead of doing the obvious, showing up and trying to tamper with the outcome, what if it was the other way around? I actually toyed with that. The first thing you'd have to ask yourself is, why would somebody who stripped his son of security, why would he do something as thoughtful as that, considering that he doesn't seem to care whether his son lives or dies? But, I thought that in a parallel universe, if we walk to the other side of the looking glass, what if that was the case? What if that's exactly what happened? That he went there to go and influence the other way. Now, I think it's really unlikely because if something like that did happen, then that would go against the unseen hand that seems to have control over everything that Charles is doing. I don't think that would play so well with the people that have him in their hip pocket. So I would say it would be incredibly unlikely. It could just be some type of media spin to try to make Charles seem like he's, you know how they used to do back in the day when they tried to make it seem like Charles was the doling dad with my darling boy, one of those things. So, but Charles is running around like a cheap, slick politician, right down to the bags of money and coercion and tampering with things that he really ought to stay out of. And isn't that the kind of stuff that they were afraid of in the first place? Is that Charles would end up being exposed as being very, very corrupt. And then what if somebody is leaking that information to try to, and I said this a long time ago, that I felt that they were trying to shame Charles off of the throne, that there was a campaign before the Queen died to try to shame him away from ever being crowned, and that William would be able to just slide on in there. And who's to say that this could not be part of that plan? It's kind of hard to tell. But just like Charles could never really want to wait 70 years to be king, I'm sure William doesn't want to have to wait until he's 70 to be king. I don't think he'll have to wait that long, but he doesn't want to wait until he's 60 to be king. He wants to do it now. So yeah, that is very bizarre, but thank you so much for sharing that. I'll definitely have to look into that one. That is bizarre. But I thought about that. I said, what if he actually went in there to do something totally unexpected? But it just doesn't seem likely because it's just so obvious. It was bad enough he showed up the day before the ruling, and that he would go in there and actually tamper with things could be so dangerous. That could be so dangerous. Let me see here. So Leg says the media are ignoring where the info came from for the other articles. 15 were phone hacking. By the Mirror, and the others were leaked by the British royal family. Oof. Huh. Well, I mean, isn't the media really ignoring most everything? I mean, you got the most widely read English language papers are not even talking about this stuff. So anyway, thank you so much, Legs, for your comment. Oh, what a twisted web we weave when first we practice to deceive. So this is the Independent. Prince Harry hacking verdict has exposed lies, concealment, and intrusion by parts of the press. You need a strong stomach to read Mr. Justice Fancourt's. Let me see here. There we go. Mr. Justice Fancourt's devastating 386-page judgment published in the High Court yesterday. It is a nauseating catalog of intrusion, lies, concealment, and dishonesty by the very people we rely on to tell us the truth. It is, in short, a bleak movement for journalism, a trade already beleaguered, distrusted, and economically enfeebled. In a world of, of information chaos, we need honest witnesses to shine a light into darkness, instead of which, piece by painful piece, the murky truth about influential sections of the British newspaper industry has been revealed, and the truth is they don't much care about the truth, at least when it comes to themselves. We now know beyond any doubt that a vast number of people in the public eye for 2 decades were unlawfully tracked, trailed, blogged, that is, hacked, and spied on. We now know that a sizable industry of private investigators was employed by at least 2 newspaper groups to do the dirty work. Deniability was all. So, and the thing that Harry pointed out in Spare is that these were thugs. These were like menacing people that just happened to have a camera. They would jump out of nowhere and take your picture, following you, trailing you. And then these private investigators, well, not only do some of them think like criminals, they are criminals. They are 2-bit hustlers. That's how they know how to access people's private information. It'd be bad enough to have someone investigating you or following you or trailing you. But imagine if the person that is doing that has a police record. Imagine if the person that is doing that has had a history of domestic violence. And those are the people that are following you around. Those are the people that are trying to get photos of you and your children hanging outside of the school. These are jackbooted thugs. These are not choir directors, not the people that they're sending out there. These are people that are high on caffeine or something more sinister. And those are the people that are chasing you about, following you in your car, jumping out of the bushes or whatever, And these are the people that are getting information so that they can share it with the tabloid media. Why was it important to have photos of Princess Diana inside of the gym? And even worse, who are we, the public, to want to see it? And the truth is, I don't lie. I do not lie. I love to see photos of my favorite people. Oh, I do. I want to see how they're living in their homes. I want to see all that stuff. I don't want them hurt. I don't want them to feel set upon or abused, but I am nosy. And if I like a celebrity, I do want to see what the inside of their house looks like. But I don't want to know their medical record. God, I don't want to know that. I don't want to see them at their most painful moments. But I'd be lying if I said that every time I see a paparazzi photo, I double over in agonizing pain. No, I'm just like, oh, that's a nice car. Oh, they shop at Trader Joe's too. I like Trader Joe's. That's my usual reaction. I guess I have been desensitized to it enough that my first gut reaction is not one of anger unless it looks like the person is afraid or terrified, or if it's in an area where that person should have the assumption of privacy. That does bother me. I don't like that. I don't like when it looks like somebody's aiming the camera over the dashboard or something like that. That does bother me. But otherwise, just walking down the street or something like that, yeah, sometimes I do like to see that. I'd be lying if I said I didn't, and I'm not going to lie about that. And even though I don't share most of the paparazzi photos of the Sussexes, um, when we go through those long periods and we don't see them, I'm like, oh, thank God. I'm just glad to see them, but not at the price of their mental health and well-being. That should not be. That is unfortunate. And when you hear celebrities speak about how much anguish that is, like Olivia Colman saying that she had to leave London because she found herself chased up the street by someone with a camera, and she had to leave London, couldn't take it anymore. So when you hear the celebrities speak about these things, it really does bring it home to you. And then after a while, you're just like, not at that price. I don't want to see it at that price. But yeah, it in society, I think we get a little desensitized to it, and as long as there's an audience for it, as long as there's a public that is consuming that stuff, unless the law changes, they have no reason to stop. Let's see. Fatima Jalal says, Baron, I just can't understand this nasty, disgusting human being talking about Prince Harry and simply with, what is that? Him, I don't get the last part of it. I think so, but um, it's painful. I feel really hurt by Andrew Morton only because I know that Diana trusted him. And I also think that when a person, um, when you owe your standard of living to someone else's pain, at the very least, you shouldn't be the source of further pain, right? It was because of Diana's mistreatment by that institution and by Charles and Camilla. That was the reason why she was finding someone she could trust that can help her tell her story. And just as I said about the Sussexes, Charles had the entire media on his side. He had the government on his side. Even the royal protection officers, if they were forced, they would report to Charles. Being a senior royal, Diana didn't have any protection. She couldn't depend on her brother. He wouldn't let her come back home to Althorpe. He said that out of his own mouth. She didn't have anybody. She had no one. And supposedly, William was upset at Diana's behavior, is what they say, is that he was upset at her behavior in those last days. But even if you found some of those things improper or whatever, this was someone who was isolated. There were no people there for Diana who could help her. Against the weight of that institution, she was on her own, and the media was hostile. And the reason why they were so emboldened to go after her is because they knew that the royal family wasn't going to do anything to stop it. They were not going to protest. They were not going to say a thing to stop it. It was that moment when you were either Team Diana or Team Charlie. And people made their choice, and a lot of them decided to go with the monarchy. And Diana was on her own. So I cannot fault or blame her for anything that happened. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever. I don't blame her. She was in a place of a great deal of pain and anxiety. And for her, even though there was so much support in the US, at home, she just didn't seem to have that level of support. She didn't have enough people the people who supported Diana were the people who did not have the voice to really help her. They didn't have the resources to help her. The common everyday working folks could not help her. But the old royalists, you know, there were a lot of people that loved Diana, but there were a lot of those old royalists that were siding with the institution. If it came down to it, Diana would be on her own. And that was unfortunate. That was very, very unfortunate. The only thing that she had was the love of her children. And now one of her children seemed to have gone to the dark side, calling her paranoid. Very sad. Wasn't supposed to be that way. Uh-oh, what did I miss? Hey, Church Nelly. Well said, Black Queen. Well said. That's what I said. Uh-oh. Let's see. Black Pearl, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for being here. And also, S, thank you so much for the Cash App. Just saw that. Thank you very much. All right, let's move on. So I have another little sound bite to play for you. This one is from, let me see, Prince Harry wins tabloid. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Prince Harry was in the Rolling Stone. They covered it in the Rolling Stone, which is good. Rolling Stone has some really good articles. Of course, every time I say that, then I find out it's a Murdoch paper. I don't know if they are or they're not, but they have been mostly cool with the Sussexes, so whatever. Let's see.
He has, quote, slayed dragons. Piers Morgan, former Daily Mirror editor, called Harry greedy and a hypocrite. In my humble opinion, as a journalist who's worked for many, many years, I would say that Harry's win yesterday should be on the front page of every single newspaper in this country. But lo and behold, it isn't. The headlines should read, Princely Victory, Harry wins war against tabloid phone hackers. Instead, it's a front page conspiracy of silence, with one notable exception, The Guardian. In my view, this is a huge news story. Harry has won a significant victory against the abuse of power by Mirror Group executives who turned a blind eye to unlawful practices, including phone hacking. It allowed its so-called reporters to invade the privacy of everyone, from royalty to ordinary members of the public. This case dealt with a period between the late 1990s and the mid-2000s. But what says unlawful practices still aren't being used? We simply don't know. This story is a matter of public interest. What we are seeing on the front pages of today's newspapers, bar The Guardian, is absolutely absurd.
So this is why you can't depend on most of the journalists or the news groups in that industry to report, because they would really be reporting on themselves. But there are a few people that are speaking out loud, very loudly, to try to make sure that we don't lose this momentum. And as an American, I tell you, the Newsweek magazine that I used to know seems to have been hijacked and has become a tabloid. Newsweek magazine, a tabloid. Newsweek is older than me, and it's a tabloid. Newsweek was the equivalent of a Time magazine here in the US. And now they are full of royal gossip and pop culture. Newsweek magazine. So if you wonder, what is my interest in what happens with the British tabloid media, is because it's the Rupert Murdoch tabloid media. And we have some of our most esteemed newspapers and magazines have been taken over. They have been hijacked by a lot of the same people that was writing garbage over there. They've been hijacked. It's incredible the amount of British tabloid reporters that somehow end up writing in the American press. Even that poor soul that was writing for NBC News, the one that I exposed that time, I told you she was sick in the hospital and had some terrible disease, and her dog had died. And the more I read, the more the corners of my mouth was getting closer to my ears. I couldn't stop smiling. But awful person. I looked at some of the stuff that she had wrote about Harry and Meghan, and I'm just like, what entitles you to come over here and write about Meghan like that? Someone that you've never met, you don't know, and yet it's not even that you're writing this for a British tabloid. You're writing this for NBC News. I was offended by that. What gives you the right? So that type of journalism has spilled across the pond. And now we find ourselves up to our armpits with it. Black Pearl, I don't know if I said thank you, but thank you for the super sticker. And thank you for being a member, by the way. And then there's this soundbite. I like her. What's her name? I forget her name. But anyway, Professor Dr. Monica Doberstein, he wants Rupert Murdoch brought to his knees, Goodall. The collateral damage, not only for Murdoch and the wider press, but also for the royal family, can be huge. Hashtag toxic British media. Hashtag Prince Harry. Hashtag Harry and Meghan. Hashtag toxic British press at Kensington Royal. I like her. I really like her. She's a woman after my own heart. I mean, she's She's hashtagging the hell out of these people. Joyce Yvette Davis says, it's very convenient for Charles to say he was why Harry won, but he was too cowardly to support him from the start or publicly, right? I got to see what you all are talking about, though. Please, well, you know what? I'll check when I get done. I have got to see. You know me. I want to pick it apart and see how it was written. Thank you so much about for the super chat. Oh yeah, let me find this sound bite before it slipped my mind. You have no right to ask me how I feel. You have no right to speak to me so kind. Okay, here goes.
Is one of those few people who is willing to see this through to the end, that he has said he'll take the stand, he'll be in court. He wants to do this, I'm imagining, because he somehow thinks of it as vindication for everything that his mother went through and everything that she died actually for. And I wonder whether somewhere this has become a very, very emotional question for Harry. It's clearly not about the money. He's just saying, I want to see Murdoch brought to his knees over this.
I think that's exactly right. I mean, look, I think that he's got the money to do it. And crucially, he's got the will to do it. And that's the difference, right? With all of the other people who've come and gone before. Most people who have engaged in this, they don't want the endless story and the stories that come their way as a result of taking these people on. Harry's been there. He's done it. And his whole objective isn't to get the money. It is to, I think in some sense, we saw it when we saw the Meghan and Harry documentary. We saw it in Spare. I think there's a sense he has of destiny with this, that this is his role now, is to bring truth, to teach truth to these institutions. It is Harry against the world. And the reason this matters isn't just because this is like a royal salacious story. The point is that if this does come to trial, and this does start in January of next year, as Jim was saying, then the capacity for collateral damage and for huge damage, not only against Murdoch, not only against the wider press, but indeed the collateral damage on the royal family itself could be huge.
Yeah.
And we know, frankly, he doesn't care.
He doesn't care. He just doesn't care. He just doesn't care. He doesn't care. Darn right he doesn't care. That is good King Harry. He don't care. And you know what? I would be remiss if I did not mention that one of the reasons why this is possible is because Meghan. I'm pretty sure that it is only because of the support, the love and support of his family, which includes Meghan and Doria, is only because of the love and support of his family that he is able to stay in this fight. I am certain of that. So without those two very important women, I don't know that he would be able to do this on his own. So we have to make sure that we acknowledge the fact that that is one of the reasons why this is possible, is because of them and because of those children, because those children will need protection. I'm pretty sure that changing their location, leaving Narnia, they were hoping that if we get away from the press, we get away from that house, we'll even give them the money for that house. Eventually, they will leave us alone. But yet they have not. But you have stupid Andrew Morton, among other people, who seem to think that Harry can just turn the other cheek and disappear into California, and that if he stops talking, all of this goes away, that they're going to leave him alone. And the sad thing is, the most disturbing part about it is that we know that the people that are saying enough is enough, Harry, they know better. They know that it will never be enough. They know better. But yet, they are speaking to the monarchists, to the royalists, to the Brexiteers and the MAGA people. They're speaking to them to try to make sure they hold tight to that base of support, because logical thinking people do not accept it. So they have to appeal to those, people that are a little bit soft in the head. They have to appeal to them to make sure that they hold on to their base, because too much of what they're hearing from the Spare and the docuseries, and of course the TikTokers and the Sussex squad, it is starting to make too much sense. And it can't ever make sense, because after they lose control of the message, then they will have completely lost. And Harry said that is their big fear, is that they are going to lose control of the message. This right here is a statement in response to the Mirror newspaper ruling. And I believe that's what, that is what his, let me see, is that what, let me see. Oh yeah, that was the statement that was read by his attorney, his barrister, or whatever, Sherburne. Let me see here.
Today is a great day for truth as well as accountability. The court has ruled that unlawful and criminal activities were carried out at all three Mirror Group newspaper titles, the Mirror, the Sunday Mirror, and the People, on a habitual and widespread basis for over more than a decade. I'd like to thank my legal team for so successfully dismantling the sworn testimony of Mirror Group's senior executives, legal department, and journalists who at least turned up to court, unlike their colleagues who were perhaps too afraid to do so. This case is not just about hacking. It is about a systemic practice of unlawful and appalling behavior, followed by cover-ups and destruction of evidence, the shocking scale of which can only be revealed through these proceedings. The court has found that Mirror Group's principal board directors, their legal department, senior executives, and editors such as Piers Morgan clearly knew about or were involved in these illegal activities. Between them, they even went as far as lying under oath to Parliament during the Leveson inquiry, to the Stock Exchange, and to us all ever since.
Harry even said the Stock Exchange. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about. I always call him Brother James O'Brien. I do. I think of him as a brother, Brother James O'Brien. I mostly agree with him, mostly, but we're all human. But Brother James had some things to say too. Brother?
That Prince Harry's phone and some of the other people bringing this legal action with him, they were unlawfully hacked. We know that some household name journalists have been named by the judge. One of them, possibly the most vitriolic and unhinged critic of Prince Harry, and particularly his wife, Meghan, in the entire firmament of the British media. I speak of Piers Morgan, whose career, it's fair to say, has been unaffected by all manner of allegation and scandal over the course of the last 2 or 3 decades. Does this judgment change the way you think about Prince Harry? That's the question that I want you to answer, if you can. And you know that I'm a bit of a bore when it comes to the manipulation of good people by bad journalists. It's huge. It's an absolutely essential part of the contempt for the con men, compassion for the conned mantra that we try to live by on this program. But the question of why this man has been so horribly pursued by British newspapers has now in large part been answered.
I'm sure there's people in your circle
Okay.
To humiliate him, malign him, libel him, undermine him, abuse him, have been legion. I've never seen anybody. I haven't seen serial killers come in for as much abuse from British newspapers and some broadcasters as Prince Harry has. I genuinely haven't seen so. Not in terms of the regularity, because a serial killer will be in the spotlight for a fortnight or for the length of a trial or the length of an investigation. But the idea that they'd come back to Prince Harry with the vilest of accusations and the vilest of allegations and the vilest of coverage again and again and again and again is, I think, unique. And he has just smashed them right where it hurts. And I'll tell you something for nothing. It's not
I'm sorry.
over yet. He attempts to.
Yeah, he said it's not over yet. And it's not. It is not over. There's still a ways to go. God bless James O'Brien, sane conscience of the UK media. Hear, hear. Yeah, Prince Harry saw what happened to Mummy and wasn't going to stand for it toward Princess Meghan. King better get a hold of Harry and reach out with love and apology. It would really be to Charles' benefit to do that, because whatever legacy that Charles can possibly salvage before he goes to join his parents down in the vault, whatever legacy he has to salvage, he had better move fast, because if William was willing to throw his mother's memory in a waste paper basket or in a trash bin, what do you think he would do with his father's legacy? I guess the only thing that makes sense is that Charles won't be here to know the difference, but it ain't looking good for Chuck. William is already talking about which which wallpaper he's gonna hang, what to do with those carpets. He's already moving in. He's already right next to Windsor. He's really speaking openly about his future on the throne. His father just got there. He's reminding people that his father is transitional. I'm the monarch. My father is just a transition. So people don't trust the British tabloid media. Trust in written press. Well, way down there where you almost need a magnifying glass, but not to worry. As you can see, I moved the list over to the other side and enlarged it. You can see the United Kingdom is just above Bulgaria, North Macedonia, Serbia, Cyprus, and Bosnia-Herzegovina when it comes to trust. When it comes to trust, they're way down there. And let me see, Norway, Iceland, Switzerland, Albania, Netherlands, Finland, Denmark, Portugal, Estonia, Sweden, Austria, Luxembourg, Belgium, Germany, Ireland, Czechia, Italy, really Italy? And is that the 27 EU states? Montenegro, people trust their media? Huh, that's interesting. But yeah, you can see way down there, there's the United Kingdom. Almost at the bottom. That's unfortunate, because for a country that values the rule of law, the constitutional monarchy, the education system and such, for a country whose currency has been trusted for quite some time, and that's very important, is to have an economy that people can believe in. With all of that going for the United Kingdom, the very seat of culture, when it comes to a lot of things, um, depending on how you look at it. But yeah, there's so many things that the United Kingdom is good at, and yet you have a media, a press that nobody trusts. Even the people that consume it most days don't even trust it. Only 35% of the people in the UK trust the media, compared to the 65% that doesn't trust them any further than they could throw them. That says a lot. That took a lot of work. That took a lot of Murdoch. You let someone from the outside slip into your country like a thief in the night, like the angel of death on the Ten Commandments. Remember the angel of death on the Ten Commandments? That green smoke, like a green fog. Rupert Murdoch has slid in there. Not to mention people like Lord Nappyhead, who lives abroad, owns the Daily Fail, by the way. Lord Rothermere. He doesn't pay any tax in the UK. He does nothing but take from it. Just as ruthless as Rupert Murdoch, but just hasn't been as successful. Rupert Murdoch seems to have interest some of everywhere. But the Daily Mail, that being said, is the most widely read English language publication in the world. I mean, Daily Mail is everywhere. And just think, if they would have used that power for good, as opposed to, just think, with that much power, the Daily Mail could change lives for people for the better. They can improve the standard of living for so many people in this world. But instead, they obsess over whether or not Harry and Meghan works more than an hour a week at their charity. Right? They have people to do that, right? You know how the royal family have people to drive them and to clean and to do everything they need done, including putting toothpaste on their toothbrush? There are people that work for the Sussexes. They have a foundation that is staffed. They have a production company that is staffed. They have a house which is probably staffed. So just like the royal family, so what are they supposed to do? Lie and say, well, for 40 hours a week, every week, we lord over this foundation? And no, they don't have to do that. It don't take a lot of effort to write a check. You just have to research and partner with these people, but they have a staff to do that stuff. So they didn't lie. They didn't lie and say, oh, we spend 30 hours a week with this charity. Why would they do that? I just thank God they don't live in fear where they worry about what somebody's going to think if they say, this is what we do. That's when you really lose, is when you worry about other people's opinions. But they're free. They're in Santa Barbara County, Montecito. And in Montecito, as we know, there are no leaks. There are no leaks in Montecito. They are free. Okay, let's move on. So, as you know, I could not work last night. I had went on earlier in the day. I had to go and do a well-being check. I had to check on a few pensioners and Our Lady of the Wigs. I had to check on those people. I couldn't really check on the sad little man because, well, nobody knows where he is. He's in hiding. But Hoghead and Angela Latrine, and of course, Jeremy, the Bison Head Clarkson. I had to check on those people. I had to make sure they were okay because I was just concerned because after Harry was so successful in court, I wouldn't want them to try to impale themselves or, you know what I mean? Or take a long walk on a short pier I didn't want them to do any of that stuff because as much energy as they put into hate, I'm pretty sure when they found out, like for instance, Nana was probably so upset she scared her wig. Her wig just crawled away and went and hid under the bed somewhere. I bet when she had to leave for work, she had to try to find her wig. The wig was cowering under the bed out of fear that her anger might cause it to be shredded to pieces. I wonder if Nana's wig joins Kate's wig for a play date. You think? Could you imagine that? Nana and Kate getting together so that their wigs could have a play date? I could see that. Yeah, they got to take their wigs out for a play date. That way their wigs don't get bored and restless. I tell you, I don't know whose hair is bigger, Nana or Kate's, because Kate has been definitely wearing wigs lately. At first, she was just doing extensions, but Kate is straight up the wig lady. She is definitely doing wigs. I almost didn't even notice it because, I don't look at Kate like that. But after hearing Celibici, oh my goodness, they really go in on Kate's hair. I love that. But yeah, Kate has been wearing the party hats lately and some big ones too. When you get to a certain age, you're supposed to go a little shorter, but it's like the older Kate gets, the more she's trying to. Let me see, where is that video where she you just know that this is a wig. You know it's a wig. Where is that one at? Huh. Uh-oh, here we go. Oh, here it is. I like the way Crown Prince Victoria is trying not to stare at it. See how she did that double take? She's like, uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, so you think that maybe Kate and Nana got a little cousin it blood? Cousin it, of course, being that very hairy thing from the Addams family. For those of you that don't know, cousin it, you never saw the face. The hair preceded the face. But thank you so much, Legs. Let me see. Church Nelly says, having a great evening all. Back pain coming back. Time for some wee. Oh, yeah. Yeah, once you use some of those very potent pain treatments, it's almost like somebody has to get a spatula to get you up off the ceiling. Been there, done that. Okay. Now, I didn't realize how yellow Maureen's teeth are. I did not realize that. But Richard Eden, this is another one. Richard Eden had the nerves, had the caucasity to say that Omid Scobie's meal ticket now is Harry and Meghan. He said that Harry and Meghan is his only meal ticket, ignoring the fact that Omid Scobie has done rather well working for ABC television, something that he hasn't been privileged to, I don't suspect. But Maureen is just jealous. And then, just like with everything else that I've discussed, how dare you accuse Omid Scobie of using the Sussexes as a meal ticket when your only success in life has really come from the fact that you can talk about Harry and Meghan. If they had to just talk about the royal family day in and day out, absent Harry and Meghan, they'd have nothing to talk about. That is why they always save the best for last. They want to keep talking about other stuff and then bring Harry and Meghan's name up. They do it at the start of the royal whatever show that is, and then they'll do it at the end because they want people to stay on and engaged. And the only way to do that is to reference the Sussexes. Without them, most of these royal reporters would have gone hungry, except for Robert Jobson. If he would have had to knock over a taco truck, he's going to eat. But for the rest of them, they would go hungry. They would go hungry. They owe so much, especially during this drought, because, the queen is gone, right? And Harry has left. So if it wasn't for the fact that Harry was married to the most popular royal of them all, Meghan, they wouldn't have much to talk about. Because if Harry hadn't met Meghan, right? If he hadn't met Meghan and he had stayed in that institution, at some point, it would have been a huge drought. They needed Harry to marry, and they needed Harry to stay there. And since Harry's not there, the only thing that they have to do otherwise is to keep throwing these stones across the ocean to make sure that people remember that Harry this, Harry that. And if it wasn't for Harry, Meghan, all day in and day out is constantly Harry and Meghan. It's like I say, the Sussexes are like cooking gourmet food. You always have to add at least 2 tablespoons of olive oil. It seems like that goes with just about every gourmet meal, a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. And if it's a royal story, even if it's not about them, you have to put in a couple of tablespoons of Harry and Meghan just to make sure people are going to read the article. Then you get further down the article and you find out, oh, there's nothing here about Harry and Meghan, but they have to use them. Richard Eden is eating very well and probably got a nice car and a nice little house somewhere because of the Sussexes. The William and Kate, they're not sustainable like that. Nobody's interested and nobody cares. You could take some of the most obscure YouTube channels, and if you go to popular and look at which videos got the most views, it's when they talk about Harry and Meghan. If it's just about the Cambridges, it's like a big fat nothing burger. And the only way the Cambridges can get attention is to do the comparison. Without that comparison, they would be nothing. Although I say they're still nothing. The only thing that makes them viable as human beings is because of this comparison game. Regina Mercedes, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for being here. Wow, it's been almost 1,600 people in here. Maybe I should come on earlier more often. Although I am missing Connie Balmer. Let me see. Okay, so Eden Confidential. Well, here's some of Maureen's handiwork. And if you guys don't know why we say Maureen because Richard Eden allegedly has a burner account. And sometimes when people have a burner account on their Twitter, they will tweet something through the burner account instead of their regular public account. And of course, the very sharp-eyed Sussex Squad Detective Agency, they notice that the thread contains a name, which, anyway, trust me, the Sussex Squad, no, you can't put nothing past the Sussex Squad, Maureen. So Maureen was the alter ego account for Richard Eden, allegedly. Does Maureen have a one-way ticket to oh man. Have you noticed when Maureen talks, she always had that head back? She always got that head back. She has that chin stuck out and got that head back. I don't know why. It looks very weird. You only notice it the most when Maureen is on that little silly talk show. But yeah, Maureen's got it in for Omid. I wonder if they're the same age because Maureen looks 50-something. And you know, Omid is a whopping 42, which is incredible seeing how youthful he appears, but he's a whopping 42 years old. Wonder if they're the same age. Too bad for Maureen if they are. But yeah, so Eden Confidential, Prince Harry the Glum, the Duke of Sussex is no fun since he married Meghan Markle, says his close friend, rugby player James Haskell. James Haskell speaks with a forked tongue. He's for Harry, or he's saying something disparaging about Harry. I think sometimes, well, anyway, I'm not going to say what his intentions are, but here's another example of Richard Eden eating from the Sussex table. This is what he writes about. And these are the articles that actually have the eyes on it. If he was talking about Charles or the rest of that lot, nobody would pay attention. This is how he gets engagement. He has to throw Harry and Meghan in there. This is just what I was talking about. This is the man who's, oh, sorry, I'm banging on the table. This is the man who says that Omid is using the Sussexes as his meal ticket. And yet, this is a typical article from Richard Eden. If Richard Eden had to make it in this world, just speaking about the rest of that royal family, he'd starve. I mean, come on. I mean, there's proof positive right there. If he's not writing about them in the Daily Fail, he's tweeting about them all day. This guy cannot stop talking about the Sussexes. Now, James Haskell, who is no altar boy, let me see. James Haskell claimed Chloe Madley treated him like a dog during failed marriage. The couple announced over the weekend that they were divorcing. Tensions during the breakdown of their marriage are featured in an ITV reality show. Yeah, that's James Haskell. Like I say, he's not the best person to use as an upstanding example of anything. He has his own problems, but it seems like when he needs to trend, he'll use what? Harry. Whenever he needs to trend, the only time he trends these days is when he's talking about Harry. That's the only use that he is to the tabloids, is when he's talking about Harry. A lot of those reality stars a lot of them, like that, what's her name? I forget what that chick's name is. The American, the one that's always talking about Meghan. They have to use them for engagement, and that will buy them at least 24 hours in the news cycle. Just like that. I think so little of these people, I can never remember their names, but that's a thing. Reality stars love to mention Harry and Meghan. And the thing is, the ones that say something nice about them, they get just as much attention as some of these negative commentators or whatever. So anyway, they're all disgusting. Oh, really? Harry received $400,600. Is that what that 600 pounds? 400,600 pounds? Oh, I hope so, and a whole lot more, really. Yes, Bethany Frankel. That's the one. Bethany Frankel. She's always talking about Meghan as if, and Meghan has never mentioned her name. Meghan hasn't mentioned Piers Morgan. And these people spend their day speaking about them. Judas and the hero. Murdoch firm paid secret phone hacking settlement to Prince William. Details of alleged deal in 2020 given in legal documents submitted by Prince Harry amid legal fight with Sun publisher. See, that's why it's a good thing that Harry is in court. If he wasn't in court, not only would we have not known about that, but how would we have known about that letter from the Queen specifying the protection, how paramount it was that the Sussexes received adequate police protection or royal protection people at all times when they're over there? How would we have known about that if it wasn't for court? But yet you have an Andrew Morton saying, oh, Harry made the point. He's looking back, blah, blah, blah. No, keep fighting, Harry. Give him hell. Harry wins phone hacking court case. Harry was joined by 100 other celebrities in suing Mirror Group newspaper. So that's the difference. William was throwing rocks and hiding his hand. William was making deals with the devil. William has crawled up into bed with the devil. Harry is very publicly pushing back. Harry is the one that kept his side of the bargain. And that bargain was actually the promise. The promise that he made with his brother is that they would never brief against each other in the press. And William has done exactly that. Harry has not. Whatever Harry has had to say, he has said it very publicly with his chest out and as full-throated as possible. You cannot say the same for his brother. Now, I am not going to share this video because it is, I believe it is copyright of Netflix, and I ain't messing with Netflix. Netflix don't play, y'all. Netflix does not play, so I don't mess with Netflix at all. They're not the ones. Now, I know that one of the content creators, one of the squaddies did show it, and that's fine. Maybe they did it the way that it's supposed to be done, but I ain't fooling with it. But anyway, there is a way that you can watch it. Let me see if I can find that link. Matter of fact, there's a link right there. I will I'm going to put it on the community tab. That's what I'll do. I do that right now. I will put it on the community tab, and that way on the community page, community tab, you can go there and find it. But yeah, I don't fool with Netflix because when we saw the promo for the docuseries they yeah, it didn't work out too nice, so I don't fool with them. But I'm going to put that on the community tab right now with the picture that you see on the screen. I'm going to throw that on there too. And that way you can get it like that. Yeah, but I'm afraid of Netflix. I am. I usually wait for Anne of Duchess of Success. I wait and see if she can do it. And it seems to be okay to put stuff on the shorts. But if you try to do it on the live, sometimes they won't monetize the video. You get a copyright claim. And yeah, it's too close to rent time. I can't do that. I'm afraid. I am afraid. Yeah. Netflix don't play. Why can't I find? Oh. Oh, okay. There it is. I'll put that up there, and then that way you all can find it. Done. So whenever you're ready, there's a link on the community tab. It's a 30-minute video. So I do recommend you watch it. It's 30 minutes long, and it's a really great video. I did make a short about Archie's camera, but that's as far as I could go with y'all because I'm scared of Netflix. They terrify me. But anyway, Archie, Meghan bought Archie a camera, right? Because Archie was getting some photography lessons from Misan. And of course, Archie was like, Mommy, how come I want a Leica camera like Misan? Yeah, so he was like, I want a camera just like Misan. And Megan was like, oh no, you're not getting one of those Leicas. But I don't suppose that is the actual camera, but some of the squatties had posted what they thought Archie's camera might look like. If it's like the one on the right side, actually, I don't know. That might be a little bit too juvenile for Archie. But if it's like the one on the right side, I'm not mad. But that looks like a little bit too juvenile for Archie. I have a feeling Archie is going to ask a lot of questions. I wouldn't be surprised if Archie became like a lawyer or something like that. I don't know. I'm getting that vibe, but whatever it is, I'm pretty sure that he's going to be absolutely brilliant. He has two very intelligent parents, and I know he's going to do well. And of course, surprise, surprise, she doesn't want to get Archie a nice camera, but look at what she's got there. She couldn't be any older than what Archie is right now. And look at that camera. I would say that was a pretty high-end camera. I mean, the lens looked like it weighs about 5 pounds. Isn't that something? She won't get Archie a Leica. And look at that big technologically advanced camera she's wielding right there. Isn't that something? Well. Now, to be fair, I don't know where this camera came from. I mean, this photo came from. I don't know if it was from, it might have been one of those ones that her uncle had shared with the press some time ago. But yeah, that is adorable. Look at that pretty face. Look at her with her little afro puffs. Adorable. Absolutely adorable. Yeah, it probably belongs to the Yeti. He probably stopped using it because his stomach was getting in the way. And of course, we all remember Harry's little improvised camera. This is the first time that Harry took on the tabloid media. You see, Harry has a pretty long history of challenging the media. He was doing it even at that tender young age right there. They were looking at him, so he decided, I'm going to look at you. Darn it. Oh, got another soundbite for you guys. Got another soundbite. This is hard to believe because it is GB News. It is GB News that it's actually have a couple of people being very complimentary. I couldn't believe it.
Harry's phone was probably.
Uh-oh.
Just to step back from this for a moment.
Oh, I got to get my speaker set up here.
Word probably that Harry's phone was probably hacked. Just to step back from this for a moment.
Matthew, Prince Harry has won £140,600 in damages. The judge has just ruled
I
that.
suspect that won't interest him, and I think that some people might lack empathy for Harry because they'll think of him as a man of money and power and influence. But actually, and you might disagree or agree, Mike, taking on the tabloid press in this country for anyone is not an easy thing to do. And to do it in court where you're going to be asked robust questions is actually a very challenging thing to do. So I actually have quite a lot of respect for Harry on this.
Only the rich can take on the tabloid press in this country. Believe me, they just wear you down until you run away. This is a massive victory for Harry. I mean, really massive. You've got to remember, when it all started, the phone hacking, it was the Sun or the News of the World. But in the background, other media groups were doing it, and this has proven another one has been doing it. It's massive because it helps Harry's credibility.
Mike?
Okay, so the last person that spoke was the guy with the white beard there, the one that looks like the ghost of Foster Brooks. And the other guy, that's the one who spoke from the start. So, yeah, that was on the GB News, believe it or not. Connie Balmer! Hey, Connie Balmer. We started early today. Can you believe it? I want to try to finish watching The Crown tonight, so that's why I came on early. Even though it is awful, I am a finisher, so once I start something, I try to see it through. And so I'm going to watch The Crown tonight. And I will give my review because I'll probably watch the whole thing. I will give my review tomorrow. Just to remind you guys, the first part of this season was awful. I mean, it was disgusting, and I don't expect anything different from the last part of it. As you can see, all of the when the Crown first came out, people could not stop talking about how well made it was and how great the production was. Well, now it is trash TV. It is trash. And it also seems to be a source of propaganda for the royal family. So if you haven't seen it, you ain't missing nothing. But I feel obliged to finish it. But it was awful. The whole Ghost of Diana made it really, it took a bad thing and made it worse. The acting by, everyone in there, the acting was superb, but the script was trash. Oh, God. Don't tell me that the business genius himself, the boy wonder, the man who has done more with marshmallows than anyone since the creation of the s'more, the man who literally put a swastika on a marshmallow is at it again. He has created dog food. That's right, dog food. His business savvy has carried him pretty far in life. He has started and collapsed more businesses than just about anybody in the United Kingdom. And yet, once again, he has come back, and this time he is going for the emotional connection of the family companion. And when I say family companion, I don't mean the queen consort, although it comes in pretty close to that. But I don't mean the queen consort. I'm talking about a real furry, um, drooling, wet nose. Actually, I might be. No, I'm not. I am talking about the actual dog that you, yeah, the dog that you see there, not the other one. But yeah, dog food. That's it. And maybe by doing this, he won't have to run around Buckleberry putting those laminated posters up, or I mean, taking them down. But yeah, so that's what he's doing right now. He's doing dog food. As a matter of fact, I think it would make a great stocking stuffer. Like if there's anyone on your Christmas list that you think needs to have a shiny coat and a great bone structure. uh, anyhow, but yeah, so that's his new scheme. That's his new business scheme. He has teamed up with, I think, Waitrose to create dog food. At least 309,000 people in England are homeless tonight, yet royals get millions annually for palace upkeep and leisure activities like Kate's concert. Why does the monarchy still exist when its wealth could better support social services and help eradicate homelessness? And there in this cartoon, you can see someone that looks like they could be Kate Middleton teaching the family how important it is to throw presents at people that have no home on your way into one of your several residences. Now, I know that it's kind of hard to see it, but that is not Mike and Carol Middleton. At first I thought that was supposed to be Ma and Pa Middleton in that box, but I don't think so. I think they still have the house, but it could be the Middletons waiting for a crumb or two, but it's not. But yeah, this is what some people think of that family. So this whole charm offensive that they're on right now, Operation Charm, I don't think it's working. They have been roundly criticized in the comment sections of so many of these media outlets. It's not working. It's not working. People are still concerned about the real bread and butter issues, like, for instance, housing, food, and of course, the ability to heat their homes. I hope for the people that are suffering right now that it is a mild winter. And this one is, well, you all know who that is right there, don't you? You know who that is. Yeah, I'll totally pay you back. From the gait of his walk and the exposure of the rear cleavage, I'm going to say that that's likely Boris Johnson. Yeah, I'm going to say that's probably Boris Johnson. But anyway, I thought this was kind of a weird cartoon. And there is the annual Christmas photo of the Grimaldi family of Monaco. Yes, that is Prince Albert of Monaco and his lovely wife. What is her name? Oh, I forget. Wait a minute. Charlene, Princess Charlene, Her Serene Highness. Anyway, love the dress. The kids are adorable. And Albert, I still say he bears a striking resemblance to Elmer Fudd. You have never seen Elmer Fudd and Prince Albert in the same room at the same time. The resemblance is incredible. I mean, I can't really tell one from the other. I think Albert is on no, that's Albert in the middle, and Elmer Fudd is on the far right side. Yeah, it is. Be very quiet. We're hunting wabbits. Be very quiet. We are hunting wabbits. I mean, look at Elmer Fudd's little gut. Now tell me that don't look like Albert. Albert, Albert. Looks just like him. I can't tell one from the other. Now, this is, of course, the Cold War Steve Christmas card for the Sussexes, right? Well, if you thought that was interesting, someone has given it the holiday makeover. And there you can see some of your favorite royal reporters reaching and grabbing and trying to pull down the Sussexes. And yet Harry is pumping his fist in victory. And there, of course, is the original. This was the original, but Cold War Steve did a remake of the first one here. Notice this one doesn't have the Queen. Did you notice that? The Queen was actually in the original. Let me see. There you can see her up there. So he took the Queen out of that, I guess, out of respect for the Queen. And I don't know who's the replacement. I don't know. Oh, I can't tell who that is. Yeah, I can't tell who that is. All the way up there at the top, you see him with the mouth open laughing. But yeah, so anyway, I love Cold War Steve. He comes up with some amazing concepts. Thank you so much. Yep, Charlene, thank you very much. And of course, this is the official Sussex Christmas card. Now, I managed to make a music video out of it, which I will share with you right now. Right on. Isn't that fun? Yes, I managed to make a little Christmas card out of it. Well, I mean, a music video. Now, the one that they shared in People magazine has a little play button like it's supposed to do something, but I haven't seen a video for it. And I was looking, I'm like, was it supposed to be a video? I didn't see one. So I made one myself. And I uploaded it to the shorts. And of course, I wanted to make sure that people realized that Santa Claus was a black man. The end of debate, Santa Claus was a black man. At least he was in our house. I don't know about other people, but we had a black Santa Claus and a black Mrs. Claus. Okay, what else do we have here? And so on the left side, you can see examples of the older cards. I added all of those to the video except for the one up there at the top left. I forgot about that one. But there's Archie crawling toward the camera. How adorable. And there's Archie's little playhouse there. And then the one from last year at the bottom. And over there, the one on the bottom is from last year. And the year before is the one with Archie and Lily both in photo. Okay, so the little playhouse, that was when they first moved to Montecito, right? I think so. Okay, so the one with Archie running toward the camera, I think that is while they were still, I think that was maybe Canada, right? Not sure. Anyway, those are our faves. Now, this photo has been branded Fortitude by Misan Harriman. Misan has been very, very supportive of the Sussexes for quite some time. And so after the court case, or should I say after the ruling yesterday, he posted this photo, and in the caption, he wrote Fortitude. And I think that's absolutely perfect. It does have a certain look of fortitude. And also an eye toward the future, of course. So, and I guess it's no accident that they're looking to the left, instead of the right wing. I mean, the right, they're looking to the left. I like that. And lastly, we're going to end with a prayer for our Duchess. Thank you to the squatty who posted this on Twitter. A prayer for Meghan. May the strength of God pilot you. May the power of God preserve you. May the wisdom of God instruct you. May the hand of God protect you. May the way of God direct you. May the shield of God defend you. May the host of God guard you against the snare of evil and the temptation of the world. Amen. St. Patrick. And that, of course, will be our last word of the day. I thank you all so much for being here. Thank you so much, moderators, as per usual, for keeping this a safe space. And thank you for all of your support for Royal Sussex, whether it's the comments or whether you have donated or you have a membership. If you have liked, shared, or subscribed, all of which is greatly appreciated. And all of those things make Royal Sussex possible. So thank you, Elaine Parker, Gracie Mfuabi, Lorna Williams, B. Martin, Joan Garcia, Official Lauren Brown, Legs, B. Martin again, Black Queen, Legs, Black Pearl, Joyce Yvette Davis, Legs, Regina, Mercedes, and also thank you very much for the Cash App and the Venmos. Thank you all. And I guess that's our last word for today. I'm going to take a look at a couple of your comments on the way out. Yeah, that's it. Love you guys. It has been a pleasure as per usual. Thank you for trusting me to do this work. Let me see if Aaron, did Sharon Osbourne faces falling on? Oh yeah, she said something about she's sorry that she got that cyclops, that her eyes are not lining up properly or something. Yeah, I heard something about that. And, I didn't want to go too far into it because, on a good day, she's hard to look at and even worse to listen to. So, but yeah, I hear she's having some problems. And to me, it sounds like she's just trying to keep her name relevant. I will remind you all that on her way out of the talk show, The Talk, Piers Morgan was trying to defend her. He said, oh, she'll be fine. She'll find another job. It's not a matter of Sharon Osbourne looking for work. There is work looking for Sharon Osbourne. Aside from a few cameo appearances on Talk TV with Piers Morgan, she hadn't really worked much since. She hasn't had a steady gig in a while. So all of that bluster about how she was going to survive, not only has her professional life fallen apart, her whole face is falling apart. And it couldn't happen to a nicer person. Yep, it could not happen to a nicer person. Let me see. Diane Hawkins. We should remind Sharon Osbourne to don't. Oh yeah, don't you dare cry. You better not cry. Don't you? You better not cry. Don't you dare cry. Good one. Good one. Thank you for that. Let me see. Whoopi got shut out of The New Color Purple by Oprah. I heard that they got into it backstage at The View or something to that effect. Karma. I heard that they had a falling out years ago. And it is true. As a matter of fact, I don't think Whoopi Goldberg was invited to the Legends Ball, was she? And then when they were promoting something, Whoopi and Oprah some years ago swore that there was nothing to it. It was a matter that somebody that they both thought that the other didn't care for one another, something like that. But whatever they fell out about, it must have been huge. Oh, it must have been huge. But I didn't know that was still going on right now. That's interesting. Wow. That is interesting. I did not know that. And I know that really stings for Whoopi because Whoopi is very protective of her characters. When they were doing the musical for Sister Act, she was really involved with that. She's very protective of any character that she has ever played. And if she got shut out of Color Purple, that really must have hurt. That really must have hurt. Oh wow. Oh well. Like I said, couldn't happen to a nicer person. I think Whoopi Goldberg really needs to retire. I think she should because she has a lot of well, you know what? This is what I think. I think that the role that she plays on The View, and I'm calling it a role because it is theater. Everything that they do on The View is theater. Most of these talk shows is a theater performance. There is rehearsals. I mean, not real rehearsals, but their thoughts and opinions are usually that of what has been approved by the producers. They have an earpiece that corrects them when they're wrong or when they may potentially cause a libel suit, right? So you got all that going on. So Whoopi Goldberg, she's not really speaking her mind. She is sold out to that show. It's not just her opinion, it's her thoughts and whatever they told her is okay to talk about. And so she's about as useful as a glass hammer these days. She's not the old Whoopi Goldberg that we used to know who was so full of opinions. But then again, I don't know how much I like the old Whoopi Goldberg. Can you answer me something though? Did they do something to the quarter? It looked like who is this on the quarter? Is that George Washington? It seemed like his head is bigger. It looks like they changed the quarter. It looks like his head is bigger. I almost feel like I'm looking at Lady C for some reason. Leg says, no offense, but Whoopi doesn't care for any black female that is pretty. I mean, pretty or is it petty or pretty or successful? She, that is pretty or successful. Thank you. Wants to be that only one and if people suck up to her, hence why she doesn't like Meghan. Yes, and remember when she went after Monique, and look, I ain't the biggest fan of Monique, but Monique did set her straight. She called herself trying to school Monique. Oh, I won't get into what Monique's retort was, but I tell you, Monique put her in her place. Monique put her in a box and tied a bow on top of her and put her under the Christmas tree so that somebody else could take that fruit cake next year. Yeah, Monique treated her like the fruit cake. You know how they people get a fruit cake at Christmas and they're like, ugh, and they give it to somebody else the next year. That's how she treated Whoopi Goldberg, like that fruit cake nobody wanted. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think they did something to the quarter because I'm looking at a new quarter and it looks like they changed George Washington's face. Now George Washington looks more like Lady C. And nobody should look like Lady C. Lady C shouldn't look like Lady C. Let me see here. Oh, I don't have the Lady C video on here. I wish I did. uh okay, let me see. Oh, thank you so much for your super sticker, Legs. Let me see. Yeah, I think that position on the View was probably she likes to work. She likes to work. And according to Monique, she doesn't get paid a good rate for her work. Now, I'm not going to get into her pay because I don't want to be that person. But according to Monique, and like I say, I'm not the biggest fan of Monique, but I do respect her opinion here and there. Monique said that Whoopi Goldberg, she said when she found out what Whoopi made, it made her sad. It made her sad. So if that's any testament to how bright Whoopi Goldberg is, that's scary. Yeah, I pay no mind to Whoopi. Yeah, um, yeah. I wish she'd move on and do something else. I really enjoy Whoopi Goldberg's movies. I pretty much liked all of her movies. I even loved Jumpin' Jack Flash. I thought that was fun. But it doesn't seem like she's okay with what she's doing. It may be time to move on. But, from the outside looking in, it's okay to have an opinion. But I think Whoopi Goldberg is the breadwinner for quite a few family members. And so she might be in a really tough position financially. But I think she's the breadwinner for, you know, family all the way down to, grandkids and stuff. So maybe there's a reason why she keeps working. Baron, all shows have rules. They can't freely talk. Yeah, which is why I don't. And you know what, Joan Garcia, it's not even limited to that they can't freely talk, but they are instructed. They are given talking points, and they have to cover those talking points. It is mandatory that they go through those talking points and that they convey all of those little bullet point topics throughout the show. And so, with that, you are helping to bolster political candidates who don't deserve the support. You are promoting like a movie or a television show that really ain't that good. There's a lot of stuff that they do with the leverage that they have on The View. And I think most of those talk shows, the panelists that they have is a bunch of theater. You notice that they don't have Dr. Shola on as much these days. Dr. Scholler is rarely on television, because I don't think that they can push her around the way that they can some of the other people. And so they don't invite her on television that much. And so for the people that are on regularly, I really have to side eye quite a few people that otherwise I respect when I see them on some of these talk shows. If you're there to like promote your movie or something like that, fine. But if you're there for, politics or something like that, side eye. And even if you are promoting a movie, they want to catch you out by getting you on the record all of a sudden. What do you think about Harry and Meghan? Piers Morgan is good for that. I don't care what you're there to talk about. He's going to ask you about Harry and Meghan. But anyway, thank you so much, Joan Garcia. But you're quite right. They can only go so far, and it's frustrating to me because sometimes I'm hoping that I'm going to hear something compelling or interesting, and I find out that they're just towing the same line that everybody else is towing, and I'm like, yep, big mistake, and I just switch it off. Jill C says it's not Oprah's world for me. I don't care if she's interviewed Harry and Meghan. I wish they had interviewed with someone else. However, I will always support Harry and Meghan. Oh, thank you, Jules C., for your comment. And M. Covington, hello to Baron and all of our crew. Keep doing all that you do. Much love to you all. Happy holidays to everyone. Thank you so much, M. Covington, and thank you for being a member. And thank you for the super sticker or super chat. Super chat. Thank you very much for that. Greatly appreciate it. Oh, I've never seen the two of them talk before. That would be interesting. It really would. Yeah. And Dr. Scholler must be doing something right. Anytime somebody's doing the right thing, they get a lot of threats. You can tell someone's doing good if they're getting the threats. I mean, I hate that they're getting threats, but it means that they must be doing something right. So, but yeah, it has been interesting to see how much of an outpouring of these people that otherwise you don't see them that often. I mean, they have been dusting off all kind of people and putting them in front of the camera to try to salvage what's left of the royal family. I do get a kick out of the desperation, but I don't think anybody's buying it. Like I say, I think that most of what they're doing is trying to I guess, rally the base that they have, the base of support, but they're not really winning people over. There's no new converts, I imagine. I couldn't imagine that there are. Oh, the lawyers too? Did not know that. I did not know that. Yeah, I love Dr. Scholler. She's pretty too. Dr. Scholler has beautiful skin. That's the one thing I always notice about people is when they have beautiful skin. I think because I had acne so bad when I was a teenager that I'm always aware of people's skin. That's the first thing I look at. I'm like, wow, your skin looks healthy. Okay, let me go back up to the top. There we go. Anyway, I think we're good. I think we're done. I got to make a phone call, as you can tell. I got a couple of phone calls. So again, thank you, moderators. Church Nelly, Anastasia, Black Queen, Sean, Lydia, Cookies and Cream, Lucy Wynn, Mo Shannon, Sherry Ware, Elaine Parker. One more super chat. Regina Mercedes. I've subscribed with Royal Sussex since the lockdown days. Really? Very cool. Thank you so much. Now, are you on the you said subscribe, not a membership. I'm like, oh, okay. I was gonna say, let me just say, if you guys are on the Patreon, please move over to the YouTube, because I want to close out the Patreon, since I don't use it. Is kind of like it's a little bit too much work for me. I'd rather spend my time over on the YouTube instead of posting and cultivating the Patreon. I think it's good for someone who posts like, once a week or something like that. But if you're doing a daily upload or a daily live, it is way more work than, Wow, is it almost 9 o'clock? Yeah, let me get out of here. What time? I started at 6. Good Lord, the time is going by fast. I won't be able to watch the Frown at this rate. Okay, well, that's that. Time for Ginger Avenger. And of course, what am I doing here? Okay. All right. And to our People's Princess, our Queen of Hearts, and of course, the Rock of the Sussex family. Good night, and good night, everyone. Love you guys. And I'm going to cue the Ginger Avenger, and I will see you all tomorrow.